Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Elisa Sklar, and I am the Vice President of Marketing at GIS Planning, a service from the Financial Times. I am delighted to be here today with my colleague, Chris Knight. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Elisa.
And we also have Gareth Morgan from the Sheffield City region. Hello, Gareth.
Good afternoon. Hello.
And so, Gareth, is there anything that you'd like to share off the beginning about your experiences with the Sheffield City Region GIS data tool, what you guys were looking for in building the tool and adding it to your website? Let us know what your experiences have been.
Okay, so I guess the first thing we were looking for was to really build a relationship with the visitors to the site. This is a great tool for actually showing you who's been on the site, how much time they've spent on the site, and where they've been. And the second part was the flexibility to bring together in one place a mass of data and information that is useful both to visitors to the site, but we use it a lot as well when we're doing our own propositions. So it saves us an enormous amount of searching for information. So the three things we were looking for really were that, the up-to-date property information as well, and to build a relationship with commercial property agents or improve our relationship with them.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. Gareth, we really appreciate you being on the webinar with us today, and as we will be taking questions at the end, if anyone had any questions specific to the Sheffield City region, their experiences using the tool, managing the tool, we certainly appreciate having you on the line with us here today.
So first, thanks for having me, and thanks to Gareth for joining. So I worked closely with Gareth to secure what we were going to do here, and I see it as now gained in even more in importance nowadays with COVID, with websites being absolutely critical to what we do. You send an email, the action is to direct to your website. You send marketing literature, the action is to direct to the website. So I believe, on top of all the things Gareth has said, it also makes your website sticky. So people will spend more time on your website. So traditionally, visitors stay 15 seconds on a page. But if you're like me and there's tools where you can investigate a bit further, you tend to stay on a bit longer. So what I'm going to show you now is just a little of the different options which Sheffield went for. As Gareth said, the different ways in which it can be used, I can touch on. It can be used as a proposition building tool to get the data to respond to investors, a marketing tool to showcase what's going on in your region. So this is the intelligent components section, and this was looking at Sheffield's region. So there's two ways in which it can be looked at. You can select a district within the region, or you can simply click on Analyze the region. And what this will pull you up is, firstly, an infographic. So you could have got this for any of the regions, just a quick snapshot of what's going on. So where this is also useful is these sharing buttons. You can instantly get messages on social media and share things with potential investors. You can go across and get more information as you need it. Okay, so we can get businesses, things like this. But we can go into a lot more detail now, and I'm just going to go through a few of the different options in terms of what we have. So if I wanted to look at, say, the demographics of the region, and this would be different if it was just for one of the locations, but just a quick place to get data. If I wanted to get the age distribution within the region, you can very quickly get what the different age groups are. So really easy to get this data, to find some of the comparisons. And if you want, you can click and map it, but we'll get into that a bit further. Similarly, if you wanted to look at, say, consumer expenditure. So, what is household income in different regions? So we can see within Sheffield, this is typically what the household incomes are. So it gets a sense. So for a business, some businesses want to be around places with higher expenditure, and they'll be able to examine this and find the best location for them. Next comes businesses. And I'm sure everyone on the phone, knows the businesses in their region, but my question to people is, do you know, are you able to map these businesses and where they are? Because this is what an investor is going to want. And to do this, you know, firstly, we can go into industries. And when we're in this, we can choose and say, for instance, agriculture. So if I choose agriculture, I can go to all. And then we're able to see on a map all of the companies within agriculture in the whole region. So if you click on it, it will even tell you the name of the company. So you're not only knowing the companies in your region, you're knowing exactly where they are. So if you're looking for a property in any of these cities, you can see where potentially your pipeline is going to be and really get set up in the right location. Again, we can see you can go further into this and you can go down to, say, fishing, forestry, and find exactly where the companies are going to be based. Next, what we have is mapping. So here, when we're in mapping, like I mentioned before, and I'll just use the same example for us, is say consumer expenditures and total expenditure. I want to take a look at where in the region has got the highest total expenditures. So if I click on it, it will give me a heat map. So you see this is drilling all the way down to different street levels. And if you're a business, say in selling high-end shoes, you might want to be in a level where people have got higher expenditure. So it can be used when engaging with retail investors, which quite often, you know, some IPAs are not involved in. So being able to direct them towards an online tool can really benefit here. I could spend lots of time going through different things like labor, but I'll touch on that again when we go to the mapping. We have on this also a comparison. So we can compare this Sheffield City region against other regions, you know, or say I want to choose Doncaster, I can compare it against, say, Manchester. Click compare, and we're able to take a look under labor force and get all the different comparisons. Just say jobs by occupation, and you can start to compare. So as Gareth mentioned, this gives him a bit of insight, which he can then use when he's building up propositions, or if he needs data to share with investors. It all is in one easy to use place and saves him searching. Then we've got a section on where to invest. So this is looking more at, say, investable opportunities. And you can see some on the map. If I click, it will bring up some of the regions. So a time frame of 15 years, who's presenting it, and the investment opportunity. So you can then click to find out more. So this is a good way to showcase opportunities in the region which you would like investors to see. You know, these are broken down by what the sort of industry who's going to benefit from it will be. So this is one way, and this is, like, I believe, quite often used to respond to investors for the inquiries, as Gareth mentioned. But then we have the second way, and this is, you know, where we use it as a marketing tool on our website, and then we layer it with available properties. So Gareth mentioned that, and this can also showcase all the properties which are available in the region. So, you know, different things you can do here. If you know, say, what type of properties you're looking for, buildings or sites, you can select it. If you know if you want to buy it or lease it, you can do that. You can look at different types of offices. So an investor is able to plug in their requirements, and this will showcase the properties which fit for them. But what you can also do is, you know, if you know a little bit more about the region, you can say, I just want to look at a certain area, filter the area and say, I'm thinking of going in this area. Apply the filter, and this is now going to showcase all the properties in solely this region that you're looking at. So you can see on the left, they've all been popped up. You can see it's a little bit like an Airbnb, where you're able to click and save the ones that you might want to look at further. But just to look at one, so say the Fountain Precinct, the first thing I can do is I can click on it, And this is going to give me a little more details. You can do virtual tours, you can look at it on a map, you can do 3D rotations, but what you also can do is get more details on the property. You can even see, so this was updated just yesterday. So it's bang up to date for an investor. You can see the location, see a video of it. You know, in COVID times, we're hearing more about virtual reality. People aren't able to travel and visit, so having videos of the building or of the vicinity becomes much more important. You can see it's for lease, you get the pricing, and then it has got contact information. So not only are you using this to showcase, you're using it as a leads platform. So Gareth can actually get leads of people who are interested in this site. So not only is it a lead, it's a qualified lead because they've been through this, they've seen what there is, and they're wanting more information.
Chris, may I just wanted to jump in and point out, because I love what you were talking about the tours at the top. Just to note that because tours have been so important these days with travel restrictions, the 360-degree virtual tour is automatically added to every single property in the system, and that uses Google Earth's digital flyover technology, so that way you can kind of get a sense exactly how it's located, situated against other properties and landmarks in the area. If you have another kind, let's say drone video or 3D architectural renderings or any other sort of animation, we can add a 5th button there for custom tours as well. So if you happen to have that sort of media, it can absolutely and easily be added to any property just with the click of a button.
Awesome. So you got all your different varieties of viewing it. As I mentioned, you can save these and it will go into your saved results. You also have, just around this property, the one that I often look at nowadays, we're working at home, is if you click on mapping layers, you can click on internet and get internet speeds in this area. So you can see this building is coming with some of the fastest internet, and particularly important if you're a software company or people who need the fast internet to work. And these layers, they can be selected by yourselves and picked what is key to showcase your region. So I'll go more into layers, but what we can also do is, if I want it to look just around this property, so simply around this fountain precinct, and take a look at the consumer expenditure, I can click on this, and this is going to give me a heat map. You know, it's going. I can choose, say I want to look at where in this region has got household income of 60 to 80K, or say 40 to 60, switch it on, and my heat map will showcase. So again, an investor can see, say, where their clients are going to be, and they can layer on businesses like we looked at before to see maybe where their suppliers are, where their competition is. It becomes much more interesting for them to be able to visualize what's in the region. And I mentioned before about this mapping layers, and a few of the things which you can look at is, for instance, under health, maybe where are the hospitals in comparison, so you can get those mapped on. You might want to get under infrastructure, power stations, airports, ports. You can choose what's going to be important depending on the typical type of investor. So I'm looking at a 10-mile radius. What is also cool about this is you can change the radius and change what size you're wanting to look at. So again, just offering an investor that flexibility to really get a feel for the region before engaging with you and turning that into a qualified lead. I mentioned businesses. So around here, we can go in and say, if it just loads, within the region of here's all the businesses. Of course, it's too much for anyone to be able to absorb. So I can switch it off and say, actually, let's just take a look at the manufacturing in the region. Switch it on, and we get a list of where the manufacturing is going on. So we're bang in the middle of it. This is just looking at a 1-mile radius. I did mention before, but you can go into a lot more detail. So let's not look at all manufacturers. I just care about ice cream. And I can see, you click on it and you see who the company is. So you're able to drill down to that level. You've got your property report, as I mentioned, and you can get your PDF. You can share that with some of your colleagues, print it, whatever you need. And the last thing which I'm going to show you before we go to the Q&A is another option of what you can add. And I know it's much more important is nowadays to start adding FDI. So this is not being done in any UK system yet, but it's something which is available, is being able to showcase where your FDI lands, both in terms of source markets, because a good example is a lot of Japanese companies like to be clustered close to each other. So you might want to showcase where the different countries' FDI has gone, or key sectors, particularly in knowledge sectors where there's going to be spillover and sharing of intellectual property and ideas and knowledge. You might want to say, okay, so where is all of the healthcare happening within Florida? I can switch it on and you'll start to see the colors. So the yellow showcasing the real hubs. So mostly around Miami and on this coast is where the healthcare is happening. Similarly, if I go to the top and I want to see, okay, where are the United Kingdom investors? Where are they going into the US? Or sorry, into Florida? And you can see a lot of them are clustered around Jacksonville. And that's probably interesting, and also a correlation to the NFL, which is regularly done in London by Jacksonville. So you're able to spot these trends. And while it is a nice marketing tool to showcase it, I think this really adds massive credibility with investors. And as I say, a lot of investors like to cluster with similar industries and similar people from the same market. So I think I've kept to my 15 minutes, Elisa. So I think we'll pass back to you and take a look at ZoomTours and also any Q&A which might be coming up.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate the tour, and there's so much features and functionality, obviously, to the tool, but that was a really helpful kind of 20,000 feet up in the air sense of what you can do, and also specifically how this can be part of your workflow in your organization. One of the things that we're hearing from a lot of clients these days is, even if they are normally focused on investment attraction and FDI, that these days protecting local businesses, supporting them in any way possible is absolutely critical during the pandemic. So being able to track, map, and understand where all those local businesses are and how to reach them and how to provide them market intelligence so they can map out suppliers, they can map out competitors, they can make location decisions, and they can share that information online is really quite useful. I'm going to just show you a quick look at a brand new product that we've also just released. Another way to put the kind of virtual tour capacity in the hands of clients is really important these days when it's impossible for many people to travel from place to place. So this is what we call ZoomTour. It's live right now. The very first place that it was live was here in NISA, which is a South Carolina region. And what it does is it basically gives you the ability to quickly build and create different kinds of virtual tours. And like all tours, they start with a place on the map. You can see these are all the different spots on the tour. And it gives you the ability to move from stop to stop. You can put in image files. There's an audio file here, so each step has a kind of a welcome and explanation. The 360-degree, ability to view the different views that are there, the map tool, and if you're using any GIS planning data products, you can also integrate those data tools into the tour itself along the way. So there's a variety of different things that we see in the different tools that allows us to look and see what that is that they're trying to share. In some places there's video, there's descriptions here along the way as well. You can see that there is a video over here if you wanted to take a look at that. Everything is very easy to share. There's no training, there's no experience required. We have all of the details that you might need in the help center along the way. This can be used, you can build as many tours as you want. So it can have one showing the industrial parks in the area. You can have another one that's more focused on tourism. You can have another one that is focused on a walk through your, the village high street or the downtown district of an area. All of those things kind of make it possible for you to direct attention for visitors to things that are the top features. We have one client now in Canada that's trying to attract more film and video production to their area, and so they are putting together a tour of all the film locations in their region. You can add hyperlinks, as you see here, audio files, image files. In this case, we've got an immersive interior here so that it's possible to do literally a walkthrough of a building so that people can learn a little bit more about it, and it makes it a little bit more engaging. So you can build as many tours as you like, and on each tour, you can have as many stops as you like. So that makes it possible to decide what you actually want to integrate in there. It's also possible, we've just added links, the ability to add website links along the way. So as you can see, they've built this into the main page of their website, calling it a regional tour. Of course, you can use it on social media, in email newsletters, in proposals, responses to RFIs, conference presentations. There's just, you know, a massive variety of ways in which this can be used. So that's ZoomTour, but I'm going to take us back to the Sheffield City Region tool, as Chris has said. One of the other things I just wanted to quickly direct attention to is that in addition to the property search, of course, the community data section makes it possible to look at all of the different regions within the area and to get that kind of snapshot of information about the regions themselves, so that you can go in and do a lot of the reports that Chris was showing us beforehand to look at demographics, labor force, consumer expenditures. From a marketing perspective, one of the most powerful things about the tool, in my opinion, is the unique share link button that you have at any point. So if you wanted to do, let's say I'm doing a heat map here we're going to look at household income. If I want to share this exact report at any point in the tool through your analysis, you can do a share on email or directly to social media, or you can generate this custom link. And that's something that can be built into emails, that can be added to websites, that can be used in social in different ways, put into responses, proposals of different kinds. And that unique share link is very important because from a marketing perspective, one of the things that we always want to do is we always want to get people directly back onto the website, of course. And so being able to share that link specifically is very, very powerful. It can, of course, be downloaded as a PDF, downloaded as an Excel spreadsheet, or printed in different ways. But that share link is really one of the most powerful ways to be able to communicate that information from a marketing perspective. We still have a couple minutes here, so I want to take some questions that we've got here. We have a question about the business data. Where is the business data pulled from in the UK, Chris? I'll turn that back to you.
Sorry, I'm on mute.
That's okay.
The business data is Dun & Bradstreet within the UK. So it'll get a list of all UK businesses and then site addresses for them, and then be able to map it.
And do you know how often that's updated, the Dun & Bradstreet information in the UK?
So the team will update it once a year.
Okay.
But you know, as a new client would come on, we would be getting what's updated as of that time. But yeah, typically it's updated once per year. And
Sylvia wants to know what the typical cost is for the software. I imagine Zoom Prospector in this case.
Well, yeah, the cost of this is dependent on the size of the region that you're covering. So, you know, is it going to cover one town, 3 cities, a region of the UK? So it all depends. You know, I would say it's starting from around £6,000 to £7,000 upwards, depending on size. So it all gets viewed based on the population, and then that would see the amount of data that would be required.
Excellent. Okay. And where does the property data get sourced from, Chris?
So there's a couple of options. So if, say, as an IPA, you have linkages with all of your property agents, there is a management tool which allows you to keep that up to date. Or we can create APIs if you have something where you have the data. Otherwise, we have a partnership with Estates Gazette, where we have an API pulling through the property data from there.
Okay,
So
excellent.
to help you on that, we use both. So we use the data from the States Gazette, but we input our own data. So typically when it's a piece of land or a site that's not yet being fully marketed, it's a useful feature that we can add to the tool.
Yep, I completely agree. You know, if Gareth will have the more up-to-date data at times, and be able to change that and keep it fresh. So, you know, anyone who is using this will have that access to the management tool.
Yeah, that's really important, actually, Gareth. I'm glad you added that. And we can set prompts within the system customized to your preferences. So after 30 days or 45 days or 90 days, you can arrange to have a prompt sent to both your office, but also if it was uploaded, let's say sometimes we give the option of letting brokers manually update their own. That'll send a prompt saying, is this property still available? Clearly having a fresh and reliable database is very, very important. How long is the share link? Let's see, how long is the share link valid for? That's a very good question. It is valid as long as that report is still valid. So the only time it would possibly expire is if you are sharing, for example, a specific property and that property expires or is no longer available, then that link will no longer work at that point. But it is another way to do that. For the data reports, that link should remain valid. Let's see, any other questions? As far as the microsite, the one thing that I wanted to add about that is that this is an absolutely beautiful microsite. It's actually my favorite one of the different templates that we offer. And these templates are, I think we've normally got 7 of them. We actually have just got 3 more that have been put into design. And they're really turnkey. So if you are interested in using the microsite version along with the tools, of course, available a la carte, there are a variety of different templates you can choose from. We plug in your colors, your image, your logo, but it basically becomes a turnkey website that we can have up and running for you, within a matter of days once all the other data sources are input. And there's normally, we normally seek at minimum a 30-day turnaround for the tool itself, just to make sure that we can get things up there. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer if we're working on arranging data feeds. But that is normally our goals, to have that for the Zoom Prospector property database. Any other things that you might want to add, Gareth or Chris, about your experiences with the tool?
From our side, I think the important thing is to encourage people to use it and get people using it. And we're trying to encourage people right across our organisation to use it, rather than just dealing with the investment team. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is, it's a really good tool to build relationships with the commercial property agents, because typically they're the ones who've got the marketing material, and we need to just use it as a constant reminder that this is another shop window for them, the sites they're trying to sell.
Yep. I would just add, I think it's important with a tool like this that we remember it's not going to magic people to your website. So it still is important to market the website and market that this tool is there. The idea is to make enhance your website, get more qualified leads. But if people can't find your website, then they won't find this platform on it. So it's important, I believe, to if someone's going for this, to launch it along with a promotion aspect for your website, to let the world know it's here and get people coming to the website, and that's where you'll get the benefit from it.
Chris, that's so important. Thank you so much for adding that. And actually, that's where I come in, because I work with all of our clients individually. We'll do consulting with your team. We have a lot of marketing resources to share, templates for news releases, email blasts, working with our partner organizations at the Financial Times and the FDI Intelligence Group. So we don't just turn the switch on and leave you to yourself. There is a ton of marketing support and consulting that is available to help ensure that you're making the most of it. And that includes everything from, as Chris said, link placement within your main website or partner websites. Gareth talked about other regional partners. We really want to make sure that everybody knows about this and can take advantage of it, because it literally becomes an open access data portal for all of the stakeholders in your community, in your region, in your city, whatever the size of the area is. So we're very, very much involved in making sure that you are using the tool as correctly as possible, getting as much benefit as possible. And that support is all part of the same investment. There's no additional charges at any point for client services or marketing support. I think that brings us to the end of our questions here. I don't see any other ones come in. Of course, we will be sharing with you our contact information in a follow-up email, along with a link to the recording of today's webinar. So if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to us and let us know. We'll be happy to follow up with you. Gareth, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to join us this afternoon and for working with us as your team. We certainly enjoy that. Thank you very much. And Chris, thank you very much for your tour today of the Sheffield City Region microsite and data tools.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having me. Talk to you all again soon.
Have a good day.
Thank you very much. Be well, stay safe, and we look forward to remaining in touch. Take care. Goodbye.